Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to my YouTube page. Um, Today, I am going to talk about the day I found that mess in my breast. So, coming home from work, regular day, um, first thing any woman wants to do, which is the last thing you can do, is take off your bra. So I'm stripping off my clothes, and finally here comes that bra. Oh, liberation for the day, right? And I, just went the feeling, just checking myself out as always. And this particular day, I found it here, and it was very enlarged. So I hurried up, jumped in the shower, and at the time I was married, so I said, "Hey, baby, you know, feel this for me." So I lathered up and everything, and I said, "Feel this for me." He felt it. I said, "Okay, now feel the other side." He felt that side, and he said, "You need to call the doctor." I said, "I know." So immediately, the very next day, I called my gynecologist. I made an appointment. They saw me right away after explaining everything in great detail. So they saw me the very next day. And soon as I got in there, Dr. Julie, I love her. Oh my God, she did retire. And she said to me, she said, at the time I was Middleton, again, married. And she said, "Why are you causing trouble?" I said, "Well, I don't mean to cause any trouble." She said, "Well, let's get you over, for the mammogram." And of course now, thankfully, they do it with the ultrasound, which is something I never understood the whole time, past years, having MRIs and not having that ultrasound, especially, most, and I mean most, women have dense breasts. So I'm glad insurance have gotten on board with that. Now they're catching more of this thorn. So cancer is just a thorn. They're catching more of these thorns in our sides, or better yet, in our breast. So I had the ultrasound, I had the mammogram, and they said, "Oh, we see the line of something that you're speaking of." And then here comes the ultrasound. So in with the technician, she's doing the ultrasound. And mind you, I have my daughter with me at the time, my youngest twin daughter. And she's waiting. She's being very patient. She's trying not to worry, and I'm trying not to worry her. So after the ultrasound was complete, after she did a thorough exam, and it was complete, she left out of the room. And me sitting in the waiting room prior to my turn, I said, "Wait a minute, she didn't do that to all the rest of the patients. Why is she leaving my room and then telling me she need to consult with the doctor and then come back?" That was very alarming, concerning. I said, "We'll just wait and see." So the specialist came in, and she said, we're just gonna re-ultrasound you while, she said, while we're looking. I believe her name was Dr. Powell. Um, so so they re-examined me, redid the ultrasound, and Dr. Powell just clearly said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this looks like cancer. We don't know what form or anything like that, but being that the fact that they are not your normal just circle shapes, is everything was just very out of shape. So just ugly all over. And they noticed that they found 5 more other than the one that I located with my own hand. So it took me a minute. I set it up. I said, "Hold on." I said, "Let me grasp myself. Let me grasp my feelings, because I cannot step out of this room and face my daughter like this." I said, "Because I'm going to scare her." So still, in all of this time, I'm thinking about others, and that's cool with me, but you know, but that's my baby. So, so I get myself together, and so I'm like, okay, so what's the next step? So in this process, I did not waste time. I did not procrastinate. Um, I chose not to be afraid. I chose not to fear. I said, I'm going to face this thing head on. Whatever it is, I'm going to face it head on. So I was able to get myself, acclimated out of the room. And after that time, set up the next appointment, which was the biopsy. And so they asked me, when would you like to have it? I said, as soon as possible. So they set it up for the very next day. So the biopsy happened. My husband was with me during that time. They allowed him to be in the room. It was very uncomfortable. I was awake during the whole procedure. So, they numbed the area. They went in, plucked out whatever they needed. And so, they rushed over that lab work, got it right back. Of course, they asked me afterwards, how soon can we call you? I said, right away. They said, can you come in? I said, I can come in as soon as you call me. So they say, in the meantime, while we're waiting on these results to come back, do you mind having an MRI? I said, no, I don't. Let's go. So we set up the MRI for the very next day. And so waiting on the MRI. So after that, so I'm going to say 2-3 days, the results came back in. Dr. Powell called me right away. And so we came in. So it was me, my husband, and my baby girl, my youngest daughter, came in, and she said, yes, it is what we expected. Invasive ductal carcinoma, IDC, triple positive. She said, we found not only the one that you located yourself during the mammogram, we saw what we saw. During the ultrasound, we found many more. Biopsy, noticed several more. And then the MRI was like, oh my God. And the MRI showed 16 plus. They had to stop counting. They had to stop counting. So my right breast was full of cancer. So after that, it was, okay, now you need to, find a surgeon and find all these other specialists along the way. So I'm going to dive into ending this right now because, of course, there's more. So, seeing the surgeon, I had to ask just one question I said to him. And his name is Dr. McBride. So sweetest man ever. And I asked him after, he going over everything, looking at all my, just going over everything, looking at all my medical records. And I asked him, me and my husband both was wondering, where did this come from? How long? Where did it come from? How did it just pop out of the blue? And why is it so big? Why is it so vast? And he said, this has been in you for years. You're just not finding it. Just know prior to, and again, I'm sorry, this is October 2016. My father passed in May, I believe, of 2015. So I missed the 15 mammogram. I missed that year. And, but because I was getting it every year like I was supposed to. But he still said, regardless, this has been in you for years. And so, I went home and I had to stand in the mirror. And I'm looking at my breast, because I'm doing a lot of research now, trying to figure so much out. And it's extremely overwhelming. It was very, very heartbreaking. And I did everything to keep everybody around me calm. Didn't want to worry everybody. So I kept all of this to myself, just kind of sharing the information with my husband. Not really with the family yet because I wasn't ready to tell them the whole story before I was able to have answers for them. And we'll dive into that later. So I lost my frame of thought. But yes, finding all of that, yeah, just devastating, very heartbreaking. And like I said, I was standing in the mirror and I was looking at my breast because it explained how your breasts will become very deformed and discolored. And I'm looking at my breast, and my right breast, the nipple changed position. It was in a totally different spot, areola, the whole thing, and it was yellow, almost like it had jaundice all by itself. And I was like, my God, how did I not notice this whole time? Because I had no pain in that breast. That breast didn't give me any problems at all. It's just this one day, I randomly come home from work, and here I am, you know, coming out your clothes. And it's like, can't wait to get the bra off. And pow, there comes the bra, and it's, wow, here comes this mess in my breast. So stay with me along this journey while I tell you my story of how cancer is just a thorn. Okay? So I still stand here thriving today, and it is December 2025. After years of treatment, in and out, in and out, in and out, up and down, and around, we still thrive. So cancer picked the wrong girl again. I look forward to speaking with you all soon. My baby girl is actually coming through the door. So thank you all so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back, and I look forward to seeing you guys back. And yeah, so remember, cancer is just a thorn. Okay? So Sheila's out. Later.